Welcome to Rulebooks Anonymous.
You'll be the first person to attack someone or try to screw
Yeah, because this is a game.
I don't like it that you have 7 cards.
Yeah.
You can only have 5.
He wanted you to pay it up.
That's right.
For us to give a price would be insanity.
I was running around like a hero with my fire extinguisher.
Putting out all sorts of fires, literal and non-literal. In this game, Manda went screaming up the mountain.
We ended up winning, didn't we?
Rulebooks Anonymous. Is there a doctor in the house?
Why not Zoidberg?
Quack.
Oh, come on.
Quack!
Could have given us more enthusiasm than that. Jeez.
Oh my goodness.
We had a whole discussion before this, and
And she ruined it.
I ruined it.
She's a ruiner.
I'm a life ruiner.
Welcome to Rulebooks Anonymous. I'm one of your hosts, James.
Hi, James.
Hi,
The sultry James.
Sultry. I'm not sultry right now. I'm kind of awake. Kind of.
At least you got the rest of the milkshake out of your beard.
I did. There'll be more, don't
We're
worry.
drinking milkshakes, so if you hear obnoxious noises,
It's because we feel like it, so deal with it.
I can't even
because
blame it on the
James-
weather.
No. It's
No.
kind of cold out, actually.
it is gonna be Friday the 13th.
Oh, that's tomorrow, though.
That's right.
Not for you guys.
If you're listening to this when it's first run, it will be Saturday the 14th.
Yeah, so you missed it. So all the bad stuff already happened.
Yeah. There's still room for bad stuff to happen.
Well, that's true. One of our other hosts here, Mr. Dennis.
That would be me.
We decided it was Reverend D. I
The
thought.
Oh.
Reverend D.
Reverendy,
With fire and brimstone, I condemn you to hell.
you've been watching HBO too much.
I don't have HBO, actually.
Well, then you should be watching HBO.
You know, at some point I'm going to do like that free trial where I input like 30 different email addresses so that I can watch HBO like all year round. I got to get caught up on Game of Thrones.
I did do the 5-day for the Raiders Hard Knocks.
Nice.
But our other host is my wife, Amanda.
Amanda. Me.
Yep, check her avatar. That's what it says.
Me, myself, and I.
Me, myself, and I. And
know-
today, what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, if we've got any fans out there that like to do draw stuff,
Drawings.
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 Yes, if you could draw Amanda's avatar with like my wife above it, that would be awesome. Send it in.
She's dying
kind.
currently.
Be kind.
She's coughing to death. She's like,
Sorry. Milkshake phlegm.
milkshake Flim. If you guys didn't
Another
guess it,
fine product brought to you by
no,
Rulebooks
no, we are not making that game. Milkshake Flim. How much Flim can you get in the back of the person's throat? You have a little player board with
Okay.
a throat,
Okay.
and then it's a clinger. You get his clingers just hanging on there.
When you say it,
No.
It's a hidden movement
It's a
game.
hidden movement. Today we're talking
Okay.
about the Quacks of, and I'm going to butcher the name, Quedlinburg? Somewhere.
That sounds good.
Germany, Austria, somewhere.
Somewhere that sounds German.
Somewhere that's German-ish.
Yes.
Yes.
We'll run with that.
That was our quack doctor, Dr. Zoidberg,
Dr. Zoidberg's not a quack. He's a licensed medical physician.
on somewhere.
Yes.
Some planet
Tom
somewhere.
Brady's doctor's a quack.
He's got twice the education
don't
you do.
say that. We'll get sued for that. It's the TB12 method.
Yeah.
It's from 2 to 4 players. It's ages 10 plus. Playtime is 45 minutes. Published in 2018. Designed by Wolfgang Worsch.
I'd say we did it pretty quick. We were about 45 minutes.
45 to an hour.
I would say that was pretty quick because of the way that the mechanics of the game work.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
So in the Quacks of Quedlinburg, you play as quack doctors or alchemists. You've come together at a festival and you're trying to create your best concoction or potion. Everybody's got a player board, and you do this by drawing these potion components out of a bag and adding them to the pot, which is your player board.
Yep.
Over the course of the 9 rounds,
turns.
9 turns.
9 days in game time.
Yes, there are fortune teller cards which kind of add like little bonuses to each of the rounds. Some of them are instant, some of them are throughout the round. You have to be careful about adding components to your bag, otherwise you'll get too many cherry bombs, I think they're called. And if you get too many, your potion will explode.
It was weird because they look kind of like holly leaves with like fungus growing on them almost.
They do.
I know, that's a weird description.
That is a weird description.
Everyone
but it's
picture it
true.
out right now.
Cherry bomb. Okay, I had to do it. I couldn't hold it anymore.
No more, we don't want to pay royalties.
If your potion explodes, you'll only be able to either score points based on the pot of ingredients or purchase new ingredients, again, based on how far you got along the track. If your potion doesn't explode, you get to do both, which is helpful. Each of the ingredients have special benefits. Some are given at the time that you place them, and some you'll get through at the end of the round. And at the end of the game, player with the highest score wins.
I won this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you did.
I almost made it completely around the board, too. I was so proud of myself.
You were so close.
The way that this game works with the bag and the ingredients and everything, as you're adding the ingredients, it ups your chances of not drawing the cherry bombs or the whatever the hell they are. And so I recommend if your potion goes boom, pick more ingredients. Go for those bonuses.
Well, try not to let your potions go boom. I think I caught up to them because you get a nice little advantage as you advance in the game.
That's the rat tail.
Yes.
We'll talk about that in a second.
But I definitely was behind in the beginning because I risked it too much.
This is definitely a push your luck game.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I started doing a lot better after I didn't push my luck too much.
And the rat tail that she's talking about is, so your player board, I guess I didn't fully explain how this looks, has little circles in a spiral outward. And typically when you draw from your bag, you place your tile. And the tile will have a number on it. So if it says 1, you place it next in line. If it says 2, then you skip a space and then put it in 3, you skip 2 spaces, and so on and so forth. And the rat tail, what it does is it pushes you up further, your starting point. And you can spend currency throughout the game and different things to push your normal starting point up. But for those on the scoring track that are behind, what you do is you get a certain number of these rat tails, and the rat tails push you forward, and it's the catch-up mechanism that's included in the game.
My potion's got quite a bit of rat in it. 6. Actually, that's quite a bit of rat.
Everybody's dying. These milkshakes were a terrible idea.
Yeah, I warned you guys about that because it makes you all phlegmy.
And I'm
Coming
just, like,
soon from RA.
I'm over here just like picking mine down.
Well, you already made it to the center.
The soft center.
Later on, you guys will know what that means. Yeah, so the rat provides a nice little catch-up for people that may be falling behind.
Yep.
And it helped me a lot.
Yeah, because the center of your potion starts off at 0, right? Or is it 1?
0. I think it's 0.
And you can advance. You have your little starting droplet. This is to help you keep track of where you're starting. And as you advance through the game, you can pay to have that droplet moved up so that you're not starting at 0. You might be starting at 1. The rat will run around to the pot and boost you up a little bit.
It gives you like a little temporary further up starting point.
Which is really nice because if you didn't have that, you would definitely get way far behind.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then you would not be able to catch up.
Depending on how much you're pushing your luck, you could easily just go boom within the first few rounds, just right off the bat.
That could be a... That's
If
me.
you didn't see, I was
that.
pointing at Amanda.
I figured out, I was all, I should probably stop doing this and start, being smarter.
Well, as long as you stay below 7 total score with the cherry bombs, then you're safe. So you might, if you've drawn the one, because it's different numbers on them, and you've got a 3, is it 3 2 2s and 3 1s? Or something?
You start with 4 1s, 2 2s, and a 3.
Okay.
I think.
I know there was only 1 3 because the way that it worked for me a couple of times was I was like, I was sitting at 5 and I'm thinking, I've got enough ingredients here, I'll be fine. Then I draw the 3 and I went boom. Without fail.
Yes. It's 2 2s. 4 1s, 2 2s, and a 3.
Yeah, it depends on how much you want to push your luck. So if you draw that 3 early on, then you know that your odds are going to be better of drawing the lower numbers. I mean, it really depends on how far you want to push your luck.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a safeguard if you want to get rid of the flask.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even talk about the flask. I'm a terrible person. I'm sorry, everybody. I wrote this
Failure.
description recently.
You did
Been,
bad. And you
been
should
busy
feel bad.
today, and I've been watching a baby for the last...
He did his homework right
hour.
before class.
I did. I waited. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. You'd think that with all this time off, I'd be able to, like, do all this stuff ahead of time, but no. No.
No kidding. I'm the one that's still at work here.
Oh, no.
What the hell, man?
It's ruined me. It's made me real lazy.
I just feel like we're actually more busy now that we haven't
I
been
think
at
so.
work.
Well, I have class right now, and I was sitting in my class the other day, and we were talking about, like, derivatives and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not prepared for this. Not right now. So yeah, there's a flask that every player has on their board, which they can use once per round to remove the very last place cherry bomb. So whatever one you place last, you can use it to get rid of. And unfortunately, it just goes back in your bag, which sucks. But at least it would possibly prevent you from getting blown up. However, the rule says that if you've already blown up with that piece that you pulled, that's it. You can't backtrack on that.
Okay. Because I'd used the flask on one of them, and it was a 3 that I removed. Next one I pulled out was a 1, and then the very next thing I pulled out of the bag was a 2. So all I did was just kind of make a lateral move at best. I mean, I advanced a little bit.
I was going to
more
say, at
once.
least you advanced a little bit down the track, which will ultimately give you more money, because as you advance on the track, the numbers go up for your score and your money, etc. Anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say, at the end where you can really, really catch up depending on the ingredients you've bought.
Yeah.
Yeah, the different effects that they have.
Which we'll talk about in 2 seconds. I was just going to say...
Time's up. I'm sorry.
That wasn't quite 2 seconds.
So if you want to refill the flask in between turns, some of the times you will get these rubies, I think, or no?
Rubies
gems?
or rupees?
Rubies, ruby red.
Ruby Rod.
Rubies. And you can spend 2 of those to flip your flask back over. So some of the ingredients, the core ones you kind of start with are pumpkins, and they don't do anything other than they're an ingredient that go in there that are not cherry bombs. You can also get the...
I thought if you had the... Oh,
That's only with the mushrooms.
okay.
You have to have the pumpkins with the mushrooms.
I gotcha.
Shroomy tunes.
Shroomly Tombs. Crow Skull, which will allow you to draw the number of them.
No, this was the broken mechanic in there, right?
Well, I don't know that it's broken. It's just a strategy that can be used. So with this strategy, and this is one I employed heavily,
Especially in the last round.
if you draw one and say it has a 1 on it, then you can draw an additional ingredient out of your bag and decide if you want to place it or not. If you have one that has 2, then you can draw 2 and choose to place one and put the other one back in the bag. Or you can draw 4 if you have a 4. I'm very confused.
No, go ahead.
Okay. There's some tomfoolery about. But
Tomfoolery.
I use this a lot because the way that the rules read, and from what I can tell looking at forums and stuff, this is the way we played it correctly.
Okay.
If you pull a new one, so I play a crow, and I pull a new one, and it's another crow, I get to chain those. And on the last turn, I chained...
I think the highest chain you got was 5 in a row.
Yeah, I think there was 5 skulls in
Yeah,
a
it was
row.
like 5 skulls in a row.
So I just kept going and going and going and going. And it was magical.
You came so close to completely going all the way around your pot, too.
And he still didn't win.
Well, to be fair, I was playing some catch-up because I kind of had some bad early rounds like Manda did.
He also risked it a lot.
I did. I risked it. The next thing you can do is toadstools.
Yes. Those are mushrooms, in case you didn't know.
Mushroomies. And the bonus for that is if you draw one, if you have pumpkins before them, depending on the certain amount, you get to move your toadstool additional spaces.
And this is very useful if you need to advance to gather rupees or to just increase your points. Because depending on which space you're on, you're going to get points and rubies or just points.
Yep. The Mandrake is next. I don't think
none of us
used it.
No.
I see the benefit of it, and the benefit being that if you draw a yellow chip directly after one of the white chips, the cherry bombs, you...
Wow, we don't know what that was.
I do. You get to...
And our listeners probably have no clue what that was either.
So if you draw a yellow chip from your bag directly after a white chip, the cherry bomb, you get to remove the white chip and put it back into your bag. So there is a benefit to it. I just didn't see the cost value being there.
This
really.
is an expensive piece too.
Well, the cheapest one was 8.
Yeah,
which is not cheap.
No. Because in addition, was it the pumpkins that were free?
The pumpkins were 3, cost of 3. They were cheap.
Okay, but you did start with pumpkins.
You started with, I think, 2 pumpkins.
It was like 2 pumpkins and something else. Was it spiders?
Now I gotta look. I think it might have been spiders. Spiders.
Yes, Arachnus Deathicus. Was it Megamind? Yeah, very underrated movie. Go watch. It's a great film.
Dennis needs to keep talking while I look this up.
Oh, for crying out loud! All right.
We have Penny. You want to sing your Lion King song? Oh, okay. That was
I have no idea what.
something about shoes.
Okay.
Okay. That was Penny.
Yeah.
All right.
And with these concoctions, these questionable quacks will provide us with peerless potions, exploding enemas, and, of course, curious concoctions.
You get 1 pumpkin and 1 green one, which I believe is the garden spider.
Yes. No
To
questions about the exploding enemas, huh?
No, I like those.
Oh, okay. Another fine game brought to you by...
No.
That's not a hidden movement. That's
a one-time use.
That's a legacy game.
Yeah.
You would not want to open that box of worms again.
Oh.
No, you don't want worms in there.
What have you been eating?
One of the other ingredients you can get is the African Death's Head Hawk Moth.
I got a lot of those.
Can you say that 7 times fast?
That's 7 times fast.
Which the bonus there is in the evaluation phase at the end of the game, or excuse me, the end of the round, you count up your hawk moths, and you determine if you have more than your neighbor. If you have, if you have 1 more than your neighbor, you get to move your droplet up 1, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you have 2 more than your neighbor, then you get to move it up and get a ruby. I believe is correct.
That was very useful. I ended up buying a ton of those, and I was sitting between you and Lisa, so...
Yeah. I only had like 1.
I think you had 1, and Lisa had 1, so it worked to my advantage.
And then next is the garden spider, which if it was the last or next to last item that you placed, or ingredient that you placed, then you would get a ruby, which is helpful.
And that was specific to you, so it's not like, you know, the last person ever in amongst your players to place the spider gets the ruby. It's like specific to you. And these bonuses are, for the most part, are specific to you.
Yeah. And then the last one is Ghost Breath, which is, again, at the end of the round, you count up the purple chips in your pot, and if there's 1 purple chip, you receive 1 victory point. If there's 2, you get a victory point and a ruby. And if there's 3, you get 2 victory points, and you get to move your droplet up. Now, the one thing that I will say is this is just the base setup for the game. There are multiple variants on those bonuses, so there's set 2, set 3, set 4 for each of them, with the exception of the primary ingredients. I think pumpkins are static, and I think the spiders? No.
Oh, with the Ghost Breath, it was you could choose between those 3 sets if you wanted to. So you weren't locked into moving your droplet if you wanted to get the ruby.
Oh, did it allow you to choose what you wanted?
That's how you explained it when we played.
Oh, let's see. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Well, that's how we played, because we make up our own rules.
If we got it wrong, and Wolfgang Vorsch is listening,
We're sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Write us and tell us how to actually do it.
Yep. Tweet at us. Tell us you screwed it up. Try again.
I
Yes.
went from last place to second to last place. But we were all pretty close. I think you were the only one who was far beyond us.
After I blew up a couple of times, I learned my lesson as to how far I wanted to push my luck, and then getting those bonuses to move my droplet up helped a lot because I'm starting a little bit further into the potion to get more points.
The funny thing is I think we all went through a stage of pushing it too far, except for Lisa.
Nah, my wife was pretty good about that. Yeah.
Did she?
I think she went boom once.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think she exploded too much.
No, that was when we got home and I said something dumb.
That's
My arm still hurts. I'm just kidding. Or
She
am
must
I?
explode a lot. Sorry, that was mean. I'm sorry.
There are times where I push the jokes too far. I see the big red abort button that I should be pressing, and I don't press
You're
it.
like Dee Dee. Ooh, what does this button do?
Who are you talking about? Oh,
Mandark.
TD. Got it. No, I'm with it. It took me a minute. I was like, "What? Dee who? Who are you talking about?"
That was back in the glorious days of
Yep.
Cartoon Network.
I actually almost bought a T-shirt with her on it today. I'm not joking, but it didn't have Samurai Jack, so I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Oh,
Without Samurai Jack, I don't play.
that reminds me of a great game they had on Cartoon Network's Cartoon Orbit for a while. It was called G-Tunes. Oh, it was so cool. And all the different characters that they had on there. So you had like the Powerpuff Girl, Samurai Jack, Dexter from Dexter's Lab. And it's like you could win by either points or by colors, if you had more of one color than your opponent. It was a really fun game. I'm sad that they took it down.
The one last thing,
Sorry.
rule-wise. No, you're fine.
Okay.
The
be
one last
sorry.
thing. This is the podcast where we just ramble on about things.
Yeah, we have an episode where we're talking about, workplace statistics?
Yep.
Or demographics, that's what it
Demographics.
was.
The one last thing I wanted to say about the rules of the game and the way it's played is the bonus die. We didn't talk about the bonus die.
No, we didn't talk about the end of the round, really.
Well, I mean, we covered the pieces and parts that you buy things.
You got to do the bonus die mostly, didn't you?
No.
Oh.
No, I think I had it
I think-
the way that-
twice, and I think
Well, to roll the bonus die, you have to be the
Or it
one that
was
makes it the
Lisa.
farthest.
along
And it
without
was-
blowing up.
Yeah, and it was a toss-up between James and Lisa most of the time.
Because I think I did it once the whole game,
Yeah,
and I was excited.
and you got points, was it, or was it in Ruby? 'Cause I think the two
I think
times
I
that I
got a
got to
Ruby.
roll it was a Ruby and a victory point.
You can get victory points, 2 or 1. Or no, is that 3? It's blurry. 2.
Do you need your glasses, old man?
I do.
He's got it
Um,
up
Can't
against his
see
face.
without my glasses.
A ruby, your droplet can move forward, or you can add a pumpkin ingredient to your bag.
You just gotta roll the dice.
Those are the benefits that you can get. Yeah, so that was helpful, but I don't think the bonus die really added that much. It was just kind of a little extra.
It was a little extra, but it was a bonus. I mean, it's not like it was game breaking. If you're one ruby away and you needed that second one to refill your flask, or if you needed to buy something, then I mean, it was very helpful. But at the same time, you've got a better chance of getting the victory points than you do of getting the other stuff that you may want.
I think to win this game, you want to try and always have at least 2 rubies on hand,
Yes.
and you want to not push your explosions.
Well, we lucked out that first round because the fortune card, the very first fortune card that we had, was your flask is refilled for free.
Yes.
So we all burned it pretty early on just to. I mean, you're getting it back for free, so why not?
Why not?
I mean, why not? And so those fortune cards can really help you out a lot.
Oh,
because,
yeah,
I
they
mean,
can.
There were some that gave us like bonus points or extra ingredients. And I think I told you while we were playing that this kind of has elements of Clank, like a deck building in a way.
Your deck building, or in this case, your ingredient building in your bag,
Yeah. So,
and
I mean,
trying to get rid. Well, you don't really get to get rid of, but you're trying to change the odds that you will draw something negative.
Exactly. That's why I was going for as many of those ingredients as I could. When I did go boom, my choice of the points or the ingredients, I was buying the ingredients as many as I could.
Yeah.
That's the better investment. Definitely get those crow skulls, people.
They're
Oh, yeah.
helpful.
Oh my gosh,
Those
that's why I said it was broken, man, with the way you were chaining them.
I don't think it's broken because I don't think
I think it's just
If
a good
you-
strategy.
It feels like it could be. It could be abusive depending on how.
But I
many
think
you
that
have.
there's other things that you can do that are just as impactful. Like, say, for example, you bought a bunch of the yellow, the mandrakes.
Yeah.
Say you had a bag full of those.
Okay.
Every time you put one out after you put a white out, that white goes away. So you can almost indefinitely walk forward as long as you got a whole bag of whites. Or, excuse me, yellows.
Okay, that's fair.
Right? So I think any of these can be exploited to some extent. It's just how much you can exploit them.
I've not seen the mandrake as much, probably because we didn't. I don't think any of us bought one.
Well, they're
No,
expensive.
they're expensive, but think about it. Think about if you were able to make by, say, round 5, you were able to you were just buying mandrakes the whole time. All you did is buy mandrakes, right? So you got a half a bag full of mandrakes. There's your white chips, and then your 1 green and your 1 pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
So statistically, you're going to be able to, in a lot of cases, pull a white as often as you pull a mandrake, right? So the argument being that as you move along the track, you're going to be able to, anytime those white chips come out, the cherry bombs, the next one statistically has a very high probability of being one of those mandrakes.
Okay,
And so
throw
by
in
that, then the white
mathematics.
goes in. So
Okay.
now, diminishing returns as you go along, obviously, but it's going to help push you further and further. And so each round, you're going to be able to buy more and more and more of those mandrakes. I think that's almost just as viable as a strategy as chaining the others.
Okay, I could see that. It's just like we were saying. It was just very expensive, and I just could not.
Incredibly
yeah.
expensive. Because, like I said, the cheapest one was 8, I think. Which,
Oh yeah.
on your first round, you might get to 8 if you're lucky.
I think the first round I was able to buy 1 spider. And
Yeah.
That was it.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and you don't get to bank
Spider.
them. If you could bank the points and save them for later, oh man.
Can you? That's probably the reason why they don't let you bank the points.
Yeah, because you could just shred through a bunch of stuff and.
And the other thing is it's one pool of ingredients, so it's not like everyone has access to a different pool of ingredients to buy from. So once you're out of crow skulls, that's it. No one else can buy them.
And per the rule, once it's gone,
It's
it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. There's no card where you can club your opponent over
I
the
thought
head
you were
and
going to say club a baby seal to dead.
I know you're going to say go clubbing.
Don't go clubbing, baby seals.
Don't go clubbing baby seals.
Please stick to clubbing your bacon, please.
Only piggies for bacon. Just kidding. Don't club animals. That's not nice.
That's not nice. We do not condone animal abuse here.
Here at
Rulebooks
Rulebooks Anonymous, we do not condone clubbing of any animals or humans.
That also
Maybe
means
some
them
humans.
going to the clubs.
You can go to the club if you want, but we won't be there. We're old and go to sleep and stuff.
Oh yeah, going to a club sounds so unappealing.
Ugh.
It really does.
It really does. So there was another aspect to this that we didn't cover, and that was the vials. I think it was on the
You're
other
so
side of the
vile.
Oh, you're
Oh, yeah.
talking about the variant of play.
So that is a variant?
It is a variant.
Okay, I wasn't thought like here's the game on hard mode.
It's not hard mode, just a variant. So basically what happens is you end up with a second droplet, and it's on those little vials across the bottom of the player board, and this is if you flip the player board over. As you move along, you can move them across the different vials, and they have different bonuses on each one. So every time you move that droplet instead of your droplet in your pot, you get bonuses associated.
And it looks like it's color-coded, so is that based on different ingredients?
Yes.
Okay, so I could get different ingredient bonuses, like based off of like my mushrooms and things like that? Because I can't read it from this angle.
I believe so.
My
I believe
eyesight's
that's the case.
terrible.
Let's see. Playing.
This is great radio.
It's great. People listen to the silence. Dennis
I am-
just removed this part.
Oh, you have no idea how much silence I actually removed. You'd be amazed how 5 seconds can be an eternity in radio. So anyways, Yeah, it's just we didn't play on the variant. We just played the basics just to get it, just to get a feel for the game.
Yep.
So I think next time let's give the variant a try. That could be fun.
I have a lot of strategies I want to try in this game. I want to try the Mandrake one now. It's in my head now.
Now that you've worked it out, and like, can I do that?
Yeah, the math works out. I could do it.
Yeah.
It would happen. Now I need to do it. Well, the problem is, and I think I may have touched on this, there's an iOS app for one of Wolfgang Vorsch's other games, being the Ganz schön clever.
Ganz schön clever.
Which is...
Wasn't that an actor?
Maybe. That's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Oh.
It's a dice game, and you're doing these different dice placements, and it's a puzzle trying to get the best combination of dice to get the highest point value. And it's a similar feel in terms of, that puzzle that you're trying to figure out the best strategy.
It sounds familiar. I'm not sure if we talked about it on air or off air.
I know we talked about it at the very least, but I'm
Yes.
addicted to this game, and I play it all the time.
It almost sounds like Yahtzee,
It's kind of like Yahtzee,
but a variant.
but definitely a variant.
Okay. Yeah, that should be good stuff.
What did you guys think of the game?
Oh, I want to play this one again.
It
I
was
think-
really good.
I kind of wish that there were more boards so that you could have more than 4 people.
Yeah. And I think the only limitation to that would be the fact that you only have so many ingredients. So if you increased the amount of ingredients that you had proportionally, you could probably swing it. I don't know why you couldn't.
I've got access to a photocopier at work, so I just put a whole bunch of those little things on there and just photocopy them. There we go. Problem solved. All right.
25 players later.
Oh, God. No. Not quite that bad. Yeah, definitely a good game, so go out and buy it.
Go buy it.
Buy 2 of them.
And
so
then
this
you can
way
do 8
people.
players.
Yes.
This
Do
would
it.
be this would be a very nice gift for a friend or a family member.
I may ask for this one for anniversary, because that's coming up next
Oh,
month.
there you go. I was going to say don't buy it for me because I already have it.
No, we already had that conversation about James buying games for
Don't-
himself.
Hey James, it's September. You can't buy yourself anything.
Well, that's bad because I bought dice today.
Well,
And
I can buy you more
in
dice.
anticipation of this weekend.
That's right, because hopefully next episode we'll have a returning feature that we haven't done in episodes.
That many.
Yeah, the
Insert.
confessions of the DM. Because
Come back.
we finally sat down and said, all right, we're going to set the date, we're going to set the time, we're going to actually play. This is my first time DMing, so this should be fun.
Woo!
I'm
Yeah.
pretty stoked.
Jimmy gets to play.
Jimmy does get to play.
Should I tell him who my character is? I
Is
kinda
it Dirk
want to.
Diggler?
No, it's not Dirk Diggler.
Halfling rogue.
I want to play a monk still.
Okay.
I made him a very small monk.
Is it a halfling monk?
He's a gnome. He's approximately 3 feet tall and weighs about 45 pounds.
You're not going to have any weight behind your punches, dude.
Nope, it gets better.
Okay.
He's pale white and has white hair. Basically an albino, but with blue eyes. And his name is Snowball. Now,
Now, is this inspired by
this
a
is
certain
inspired
movie?
by a certain series of 2 films, children's films, where a certain actor portrayed a rabbit named Snowball.
To be fair, said actor, I think, is about that height.
He is.
Oh,
Hey, he's shorter than I am, okay? I'm not a
pretty
tall
short.
man.
He's pretty short.
The funniest thing was seeing him sitting on a bar stool swinging his legs. He's like,
Yeah.
this does not intimidate people. I was like, no, it
No, it
doesn't.
doesn't.
And I'm sitting here thinking, I've done that. Yeah,
Mhm.
hard to talk trash when you're swinging your legs on the end of a bar stool when you're 5'6".
So
I
when
do
I
it all
was
the time.
when I was doing his stats though,
To be fair, you're a girl. I mean, you're not expected to be 6 feet tall.
I did a standard array.
Okay.
Right, so you take each set of numbers and you just assign them, right? You're not actually rolling for stats. And so for his strength stat,
Oh no.
I put an 8, which is the lowest value.
Oh no.
He has a 15 agility, though, so he's very agile, but he has no strength, and he has lots of charisma. And his I have to look up his stats for, or his attributes. They're quite amusing.
So I did end up sending that link to a lot of pre-made characters to the rest of the folks in our group. Because I just made a chat group for this, and I said, all right, everyone start at level 1. We're just going to do milestones. And then, of course, my computer decides to take a digger on me, and the whole campaign I had was just kaput. So I've been scrambling to write it back up. I had, like, cool maps all worked out, so you guys get to draw.
I'm sorry, Dennis.
That's fine. It's fine. It happens. You guys get to draw the cool maps, though.
Do you want me to bring my mat?
I will let you know tomorrow.
Okay, because I have both mats.
I was just thinking, since I'm a halfling druid and you're a gnome, I'm hoping that...
Are we going to be married?
No.
Oh.
I'm hoping that...
You're going to team up and call it half and half.
I was going to say I have to be married to you in real life. I don't want to do it in fantasy, too. Just kidding. That was good, Dennis.
Oh, wow.
We can make one person. We would still be half a person, though.
So he gets on your shoulders, and that's like a strength boost, right?
That's gonna be it.
If Nathan has like somebody that has a high strength, I think we should have the snowball special, where he just picks you up and throws you at the monster.
No, I was just thinking there's already 2 really small people. I'm hoping not too many more people.
Why?
I don't know.
It makes it more interesting.
I don't know what my niece has. My niece might have a dragonborn. My uncle, I'm not sure what he's got. Don't know what Nathan's got.
We have a pretty good sized party. We could just be a party of tiny people.
We've got about 6 people playing, I think.
All right, here you go.
That'll be fun.
So my personality traits are such.
You're talking in the game, right?
I'm talking in the game.
Okay.
In real life, I'm just a right prick.
Thank you. Now I have to edit that out.
Is that a no-no word?
Nah, we should be fine with that.
Oh, okay.
You probably just shouldn't say it.
Word. I was using it in the I'm a big jerk sense.
Well,
but
then say that.
I blow up at the slightest insult. My ideals are freedom. Chains are meant to be broken. He's a breaker of chains.
With an 8 strength stat.
Yeah. If there's a plan, I'll forget it. If I don't forget it, I'll ignore it. And I'm guilty of a terrible crime that I hope I can redeem myself from.
Emu trafficking.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Now, are these things that you personally chose, or did you, like, roll for these?
I chose them. I could have rolled for them, but I chose them instead.
So you gave yourself, like, just...
awful.
Oh, wow.
Awful stats for fun.
Remember when we talked about gamer challenges?
Yeah.
He's
I'm challenging myself to play a 3-foot-tall gnome.
You want to play this on hard mode? Jeez.
My strength modifier is a -1.
Is that okay? Then is it because of being a gnome that it's -1?
No, I assigned my attributes such.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
You guys are gonna die like first encounter.
That's my goal.
This is
Why?
Because then I can make another character, and this one can
Do you have a backup character just in case?
maybe.
Oh my gosh.
This one is gonna.
He slams down this big old 3-ring notebook.
This one's gonna be
These
a
are all my
very
characters.
elderly person who has a wheelchair, and every breath is a cliffhanger.
Oh gosh.
Do you want to use the 11th hour, old man? No! Did everyone else die?
Now you've done it. Pickles is pissed.
He's just been waiting for that opportunity.
Every breath is a cliffhanger.
Okay, so the shortcut is death. I'm out.
Shortcut is death.
My only choice is all death. I'd have the chicken. Yeah,
If
we're
you
just
can't-
throwing pop culture stuff out there.
If you can't
Almost
tell
cursed.
that we're parents here at Rulebook Anonymous of younger children.
All the young children.
You know what? I don't care. Even if I didn't have kids, I'd still probably watch cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about all I watch.
I don't know if we would watch them so much we'd be able to quote them like we do.
Says you.
Yeah, I around the time that Rio first came out, I was playing the Rio Angry Birds on my phone. But that was a movie that Lily was obsessed with, and unfortunately, me and Lisa could do backwards and forwards every single line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, occasionally I'd throw in there. as I'm launching the blue macaws at pigs and monkeys.
Do you know what else is fun, though? Is bringing your childhood cartoons to your kids' lives and then being able to say all the lines already.
Oh, I showed my kids the original Voltron from 1980s. It's so glorious because they had like 3 voice actors. Only one of them was female, so like a non-important female character was a dude trying to do a female voice.
So it was Bob's Burgers.
Basically. Like, no, don't leave me behind. It's like, you can tell it's a dude trying his best, but it's like, damn, dude.
I have to make a complaint because
Okay.
this happened actually like 2 hours ago. I was looking on Amazon or Netflix, really,
Yeah.
because I wanted to watch with Penny The Brave Little Toaster.
Oh, that's a, like,
Guess what's not on either platform?
Brave Little Toaster.
The sequels are all on there, but not the original.
There's sequels to that?
Yeah, there's 2.
There's so many unanswered
Ew.
questions after the first one.
There's one where they
That-
go to Mars, and I forget what the other one is.
That just seems...
That's
Oh.
when they get put to the pawn shop.
There's one that they go to Mars, and there's one that they
Garage
save
sale?
a bunch of animals from like a animal shelter where they're doing experiments on them or something.
A toaster saving animals from an... You know what?
I'm going
That's
to more.
that's fine. Like, Don Bluth was probably on a lot of drugs.
He was high.
Hey, I saw Fern Gully.
Fern Gully.
I'm surprised that wasn't made into some kind of game, like where you're building up the forest and then you have to deal with like the demon that's like cutting down your trees or something like that.
I'm sure something exists.
Yeah, and had the great Robin Williams in there.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a live action one.
Oh, we don't need another. Okay, we don't need any more live action. Whatever.
No.
I mean, okay, Lion King is not live action. It's still a cartoon. It's just like a really pretty
and then
cartoon.
The best part about it is, like, everything is pretty much the same.
Oh yeah, it's almost a shot-for-shot remake. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's because of the new films, but did you guys ever play the original games of Lion King and Aladdin on like Super
Yes.
Nintendo or
Oh,
Genesis?
yes. Oh, yes.
They've either brought them back or bringing them back on like the newer consoles. So like you can play
Ooh.
those original ones. Because I think it was like the flying carpet level in Aladdin was like one of the hardest levels ever designed.
I'm so stoked.
Oh yeah,
I want this
yes.
in my life.
So James now knows what to get you for your anniversary coming up.
What? What?
Oh, our
Li-
anniversary passed.
Oh, or something. Lion King and Aladdin, Super Nintendo Genesis versions, they're being brought back.
Oh, are they going to be on the Switch?
I think it's on all 3 of the big ones.
Oh.
I believe so.
I
I don't
want this
know.
in my
I will
life.
have to check it out.
I think I actually beat both those games.
Ah, those are such good. See, and that was one of those rare instances where they had like the video game that's tied in with the movie was good because it was actually challenging and everything. Nowadays, you try playing the video game that's tied in with the movie, and they're terrible. One of the worst ones was Transformers. So
Sorry,
bad.
I'm trying to see if there's a Fern Gully board game. Because I feel like there has to be.
That's
That was a good movie.
It was, as we relive our nostalgia from the 80s.
There's a board game called Darkest Night, which apparently is basically Fern Gully, the board game.
Oh, okay. Is it newer or older?
It is relatively new,
Okay.
like in the last 6-8 years.
Okay, so maybe we'll hunt that down and we'll be able to get that.
It was
and review it
published
for y'all.
in... Hold on, I gotta find out when it was published.
That's okay. We're just burning airtime.
No, I want to know when it was published. 2012.
Okay. So that would be 7 years ago as of this recording.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
If you're listening next year, then, well, it's not.
Then
Yeah.
more time. So sorry for that. Our
And
bad.
you're in the future, and you travel in time.
Yes.
I want to travel through time. Is that an option?
No, it sounds kind of scary.
I don't know. It depends on which time travel rules you get to apply.
Which aren't we going to use the time machine?
Are we applying endgame rules where like your past is your future, so you
No.
Or the
So-
butterfly effect.
yeah, there's no butterfly effect because you can like apparently kill your past self and nothing happens to you because that's like alternate time.
No,
I don't know.
No, we're going to do the time machine
Okay,
rules.
all right.
The H.G. Wells time machine rules.
So was that actually through time, or was that through like multiverse theory, where you're not actually going back to the past, you're just entering a parallel
No,
universe?
he went to the future and then saw the little blobby people and then went
Is it
back.
the Morlocks?
Yes.
Okay.
Would you rather go
I do.
forward in
You know,
time or
now
backwards?
that you mention it, the kids do have this I Spy board game, and this board is massive. It's like 6 feet, so we have to put it on our dining table.
That's huge.
And it's your like these time traveling kids, and your machine goes awry, so you're sent way back to the Jurassic. And as you're moving up the board, you're moving forward in time, and you have to find different things.
That sounds like fun.
oh,
play
it's
that.
super hard.
Let's play that.
I think How long have you had that?
Quite some time,
Like a decade or a few years?
a few years.
Because I vaguely remember.
At least 4 years, I want to say, because Lily got it for Christmas.
I vaguely remember the Dice Tower doing a review on that.
Okay, because you only got like 30 seconds to find all of the whatevers you're looking for.
Yeah, it's
and then
Where's
you
Waldo on
succeed.
Crack.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Let's play that.
Where's Waldo on
Waldo?
Crack? Or Where's Waldo?
Wait, so is Where's Waldo on Crack with him all drugged out, or are you the player on crack?
Yes.
Man, he's not even trying anymore.
Speaking of crack,
Yeah.
we're gonna and Dennis and I might go to blows on this one.
I don't know.
Not blows, but we want to talk about gaming addiction.
What a bad segue.
That
It was
is
a terrible
that's
segue.
I don't know how I feel about that segue.
We won't
You know?
go to blows. We'll be friends.
Oh look. Did you guys know that? Do you guys know who declared that gaming addiction is like a mental disorder?
Who's that?
Exactly.
Who?
Yeah,
Who?
I just told you.
No, who?
Yeah, that's who it is. Who declared that excessive gaming is a mental disorder?
And by who? Do you mean the World Health Organization?
Yes, who?
Who? Yes, we just did
You guys
that
are
bit.
so embarrassing.
We are
Oh.
embarrassing.
But I love you.
Hey, Abbott and Costello did a great thing when they created that.
Yes, they're amazing.
And that was also,
Where
you
was-
want another version of that, look up the one on Animaniacs, Slappy
Oh
Squirrel.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the band? Who? The band on stage. Yeah. So anyways, this is an article from way back in the day in the month of May of this year, 2019.
Way back.
Yes. Yes, video games can be highly engrossing, but some people can become addicted to gaming. Now, the way that they deal with this is they say that gaming disorder is a mental disorder, but they tie it specifically in this one to video games, and it's because they are saying that you excessively play, you obsess about playing, you're just playing way too much, you now have a mental disorder.
I just have to thank Sulu for reading that for us real quick.
Oh, bye. You now have a disorder. F you and the horse you rode in on, William. I can get away with that one. But the thing is, I'm sorry, I don't buy it. If they were tying it with all gaming, I would see that being more viable, because gambling addiction is considered a disorder, is it not?
I don't know if they specifically call it gambling disorder. My only thing that I'll say is I look at it in terms of addiction as a whole. And generally speaking, you can become addicted to anything. You can become addicted to washing your hands. You can become addicted to...
Wouldn't that just be OCD?
No, OCD is a whole nother ballpark of stuff. But
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a
Not
lot
just
of
your
stuff.
hands.
There are a lot of cats in
Um,
that basket.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what I mean
I think
by that.
I think right now what you and I are really kind of talking about specifically is the difference in specific. Yeah, I can't say the word.
Specificities.
You can't say it either.
Specifics.
Yeah,
There we go.
specifics. Specifically calling out one medium over another is almost silly. It's just pure and simple addiction to one thing or another, whether it be something that is an addictive substance or something that can be viewed as addictive.
Well, in addiction for a lot of people that may not completely understand where they're coming from with this is one of those things where you're getting a high, whether it's like your brain, what is it, dopamine? That's like the happy one.
Yep.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, where you're getting that great feeling, that thrill or whatever. You can get that from eating. You can get that from, illicit drugs that we do not condone here on Rulebooks Anonymous.
No drugs.
And they say the same thing with games. I'd say I just don't see it with video games because there is a competitive aspect of that, and that could be one of the reasons why someone would play that much. And if you get to that point where you're super competitive, are you really getting enjoyment?
So are you addicted to the game, though, or are you addicted to winning?
That is a good question.
So you're still addicted to something. It may just not be video games.
Yeah, but they only pick on the video games.
I
That's
know.
the thing. That's the thing that gets me. And I mean, we're coming fresh off the heels of me ranting about the.
I'm not arguing that
Yeah.
they're not necessarily being very specific towards a certain medium.
Yeah.
I'm looking again at everything from very broad strokes. You can become addicted to literally anything. The question is,
Can I become addicted to breathing?
I think everybody's a little addicted to it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be alive. But
I'm addicted to coffee.
I mean, there are.
Would that be specifically the caffeine?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
you can take someone who, say, runs every day. I know specifically, I will not name this person, but I know specifically someone that is a family friend that has run every single day since middle school.
Is that runner's high that they talk about?
It's something like that. Every single day.
Cardio's the devil.
This person is in their 50s, has run every single day since middle school, has had operations, ran the day before, of, and after.
He's
And
basically ran himself into the ground.
Are you sure he's not secretly the Bionic Man?
he might be.
Okay.
But I would argue that he has an addiction to running. Now, is it the worst addiction in the world to have? No, it's not a big deal.
But would they classify that as a mental disorder?
I think addiction as a whole is a mental disorder. I
Addiction-
don't necessarily think that there are
I think there's different
specific addictions.
severities.
See, I agree with you that addiction as a whole would be labeled as some kind of disorder. But when they specifically target one thing in particular,
No,
is-
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that.
yeah, and
I'm saying you can get addicted to video games.
Okay.
You can get addicted to board games. You can get addicted to running. You can get addicted to drugs.
okay,
But they're all part of the same issue.
I was going to say, was who trying to
Who?
only...
Who?
What? Where? Were they only trying to say that being addicted to a video game was a mental thing?
yeah, that was what they were getting.
Yeah,
at.
they were specifically saying video
Yeah,
games.
simply playing a lot of video games is not enough to count as a disorder. Rather, the disorder occurs when gaming interferes with daily lives,
Yeah.
which is the
Is
same of
any
any
addiction.
Yes.
Yep.
So why is it specific to video games in their point and everything? And it's just because, again, that's low-hanging fruit.
Yep.
That's just
I'm with
it.
you.
Yeah, it's something that anyone can pick on, but
Maybe
at the
that,
same
maybe
time,
that was just the topic of the time.
I
Maybe
would
they weren't
like
trying
to-
to pick on video games.
I would like to throw out one thing real quick here.
Okay.
None of us are qualified professionals, so
oh God, no.
don't take anything we
I took a
say
class in
super
psychology in
serious.
college, and that's it.
This is
I've
just all
taken
our
child
ranting.
psychology classes,
You're a teacher, so you have to deal with a little bit of psychology on a daily basis.
but I still wouldn't qualify myself as a specialist.
Okay. Now, at the same point, with this being labeled as a disorder, I want to hit this from the other side. Do you think that they would have it covered under insurance? Or is this one of those things where you can... Because you can get a handicap placard for almost anything.
I see where you're going with this, Dennis.
It's accurate.
Yes.
So are
I-
you trying to get a handicap placard, Dennis? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, God, no. I park in the farthest area of the parking lot because I hate trying to parallel park or get my truck into one of those
Can
tiny spots.
I get an emotional support animal?
Emotional support video game.
Ooh.
So I have to play a game all day because it helps
It's
me.
called Chasing the Dragon. You just run around chasing him, but you never catch him.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I catch a dragon?
You're just chasing him. I'm not going to finish the rest of that. Look up the South Park episode on Rock Band or Guitar Hero, whatever it was.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
But the thing is, I mean, when we classify things as a disorder or a disease or whatever,
Like a mental problem.
exactly, does that have to, even as absurd as we may find it, would that still have to be something that you'd think insurance would have to cover, or you'd be able to say, well, I had to miss work today because of my disorder? I mean, I cannot imagine walking into work as like, well, I'm sorry, I've got this disorder where I just keep playing Mario all day long, and that's why I wasn't at work today.
Well, I would argue that I think it would be covered similarly to any addiction, but all of that really goes back to being able to seek mental health help from a mental health expert, whether it be a psychologist or whatever, psychiatrist. I always get them confused which one's which. One gives drugs, one gives hugs.
Okay. Yeah, but so which would you be able to get away with that kind of stuff is what I'm kind of wondering.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Because it still
I mean,
falls
you can
under
get away with anything nowadays.
it still falls under addiction.
I would almost classify this as also withdrawing yourself. I would wonder if this falls under the depression umbrella
Oh,
as
I'm
well.
sure it does.
Just because you're withdrawing from the world, and that's one of the signs of depression.
I'm sure that it fills many, many buckets,
Okay.
and you could classify it as such.
All right. I need to take a mental health day because of my disorder.
I feel like you can get away with pretty much, like, people bringing their support hamsters on airplanes and
Peacocks and
crap.
You can get a
Donkeys.
support hamster?
Yeah.
Does Richard Gere know?
Yes.
Oh.
Lammy winks.
If Richard Gere can do it, I can too.
Sorry. So, anyways, yeah, I just with the way that we can classify anything as a disorder, I would just think that there could be rampant abuse. Again, with the placard, because if you have anxiety, you can get a handicap placard, and I think that takes away from if you're going to abuse it in this way. I'm not going to say that people with anxiety shouldn't have those placards, because again, not a professional.
I feel like in some ways it already is abused.
It is. Well, there's abuse everywhere. Yeah. Now it's
Everything's
video
abused.
game abuse.
I abuse video games. I yell at them.
Okay, so kind of a side story. An impromptu Richard moves. You know the other name.
moves.
You know the other name for Richard. We just can't say it on the air. So
Yeah.
my friend Michelle, and she really likes animals and everything. And this was back when Twilight Princess first came out on it was either the GameCube or the Wii. I'm not sure. Either way, there was a scene at the beginning where you have the horse, and anyone who's played a Zelda game knows that it's a pain in the tail to get a horse. So, anyways, with this horse, it's Epona, the horse that you had throughout the 64 era
Okay.
of Zelda.
Yeah.
Anyways, I kid you not. After I got access to all the various weapons and everything, I spent like an hour just beating the hell out of this horse, just because. I'm shooting it with arrows. I'm throwing bombs at it. This is the indestructible horse, though. I mean, it does not die, because in the world of Zelda, you can die, but your horse is invincible. And Michelle is just watching me do this, and she's just horrified. And her husband Jeff at the time is just like in tears. He's laughing so hard. He's like, he's being cruel to the animal.
Just don't let her watch Red Dead Redemption 2 or 3.
James was playing a dinosaur
I think it's
game,
only 2.
and
Well,
he was killing all the dinosaurs, the good ones. And I was like, stop
What
it. He's
game
like,
was
they're
that?
just light. They're just little pixels of light.
What game was that?
What counts as a good dinosaur?
The ones that don't eat meat.
What game was that killing dinosaurs in?
I don't know.
Is
We
it
lived
Turok?
in, this was like forever ago when we lived in Washington.
I don't know what that
Dino
is.
Crisis. We'll go really old school.
It was a lot. I don't know.
Oh man.
It wasn't that old school.
I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry.
Was your thumb hurting in this one too?
No, it was not.
Apparently he had a stick that was hurting. Killing all the nice dinosaurs.
But no, in
Stick that was hurting.
come on now. But no, in Red Dead, unintentionally, I've killed probably 150 horses.
Yeah, it's sad.
Oh,
When
damn.
he like rode off a cliff.
It was the very like I went through all the the
Thelma and Louise to the horse.
I went through the opening scenes, and then you end up out of the mountain, spoilers, and down in this little town. And I stole a horse or something, or hit someone, and everyone was coming after me, so I was like, oh, I gotta go. So I jump on this horse, and I go right out of the main town. I don't even remember what the name of the town is. And all of a sudden, there's just a cliff, and I go, boom, just off the cliff with the horse. And I'm
And
like,
the sad
no!
part is like they make it so realistic, so like the horse doesn't
just
die
doom,
immediately.
Doom, doom, and then it's like laying there, like
And then it goes
labored breathing, and I'm like, oh no!
They make it so realistic and sad. Just put the horse out of its misery.
I do. I shoot it in the head, and then you get upset about that.
See, what would have been better is if you had the Goofy yell or something as it's falling down.
No, what would have been better is the
horse.
what's the main audio they use for falls?
Oh,
The Wilhelm scream. No, the Wilhelm scream. The
yes.
I can't do it. Can you put it in here for me?
There we go.
No, yeah, that one. That's the one. The Wilhelm scream.
We'll see if that makes it in post.
I'm gonna need you to put that in.
I think I can find that. Yeah.
So that's what they need to add. It'd make it more comedic as the horse dies.
Well, there was this YouTuber that got in trouble. Speaking of Red Dead Redemption, and this will be the last story because we got to wrap up this episode.
Aw, but we're having so much fun.
I know, but all good things do come to an end, like this episode. So no, what this guy did was he got in trouble because it was called like feeding a feminist to a crocodile. And it was like he'd gone into the town, he had found one of the old school feminists and everything, lassoed her, tied her up, put her on his horse, and he rides out of town. He finds a crocodile and he feeds her to the crocodile.
How did he think this was gonna end, though?
Oh, he thought it was going to be funny. He got in trouble for it because everyone got all uppity about it. And wisely, most of the community pointed out, is like, you have no problems when there's similar videos and it's a dude that's being eaten.
Yeah.
Why is this any different? There's this double standard right here. So they reinstated him, and then he goes and he finds a Mexican and does the same thing. I mean,
now he's just being spiteful.
Now he's just doing it just to mess with people. It's like, okay, I mean, the first time might have been funny. Now you're kind of pushing your luck. We know that you're doing it on purpose. I mean, just feeding anything to a crocodile is kind of funny anyway. So
you get a line, I'll get a pole, honey. Oh,
Joanne.
Yeah.
Joanna.
Crocky.
Sorry.
So
I need
anyways,
to go watch that again.
We have run out of time on this episode.
That's not true. You're lying.
It is true. I've got so much to cut out right now.
No, don't cut any of it. You should keep it all.
Leave it all in.
Occasionally, yeah,
Toddler,
that's great radio.
Toddler
right
screaming,
there.
"Dad, I need my butt wiped," and everything.
Well, see, now you just put it back in, Amanda. Good job.
I got to find the Wilhelm scream for you.
I need that.
So if you hear it in this episode, I succeeded. If you didn't, I did not. There is no gray area here. It's all or nothing.
It's either yay or nay.
Or pretty much. But we hope you enjoyed this episode. Go out and find Quacks of
Quedlinburg?
Thank you. Yes, that one.
And thank you for putting us at over 1,000 listeners.
Yes,
We
over
are
1,000
rocking it.
listens. Woo!
We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, Spreaker went and changed their app, so it took away a lot of the listens on there. When I first looked up, I was like, what happened?
Oh no, we went back in time.
Going back in time.
Oh, it dropped from like 900 something to like 115. I was just going to be, oh my god, what did you do?
Oh, that would make me sad.
Yeah, then they went and updated the app and was like, okay, we put this feature back in so
Okay.
that you don't have to go and mess with the detailed stats. Yay, stats.
Yay, stats.
I don't need to obsess over the stats.
I think you need to obsess over the stats.
No.
But
anyways,
any final words from anyone cool?
I already gave you my final word.
Your final word?
Yes.
Word.
Spadoinkle.
Spadoinkle.
Mine is word to your mother.
I can't handle either one of you. You guys have been listening to Rulebooks Anonymous. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram at Minds. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Speaker, iHeartRadio. What's the one I'm missing? I know there's one I'm missing.
Mind.
No, I got the Mind. This is where the podcast is.
Castbox,
Castbox,
Deezer.
all of them. It's on all of them. Just go find it.
We're everywhere.
just type in Rulebooks Anonymous podcast. It'll pop up. Go to BGG. We're on there, listed every week. Add some posts. Tell us how much you hate us on there. Something. Just post something on there.
I'd rather some love.
I mean, love's good too,
We
but
should probably actually check our email.
Ew.
have you not looked at our email?
I haven't looked at our email in months.
Oh my goodness.
We're so sorry.
I'm
We're
I'm falling behind. Look, I got other show stuff that I'm doing.
It's
Dennis
not just,
is a terrible
It's not
person.
just Dennis's fault.
Yeah.
It's mainly Dennis.
Oh yeah.
It's late here and we're tired.
We will see you
We'll
all
love you.
next
We'll
time
talk to you
here
all
at
later.
Rulebooks
Goodbye.
Anonymous, where we
Goodbye.
sponsor your addiction.
You've been listening to Rulebooks Anonymous. You can find us on social media at Rulebooks Anonymous on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Minds.com. Rulebooks Anonymous is available on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Castbox.